He was born to a single mother, abandoned by his father, and diagnosed with pneumonia before his first birthday. He never finished college, and yet, Larry Ellison became one of the richest men on earth, not by following the rules, but by rewriting them. Stay with me, because this isn't just the story of a billionaire. It's a story about resilience, rebellion, and building something massive from absolutely nothing. A journey that just might change the way you look at your own path. Lawrence Joseph Ellison was born on August 17, 1944, in the Bronx, New York, during the final stages of World War II. His mother, Florence Spellman, was just 19 years old, unmarried, and struggling. His biological father, an Italian-American U.S. Air Force pilot, left before Larry ever got to know him. Just 9 months later, baby Larry came down with pneumonia. His mother, overwhelmed and unable to care for a sick infant, made a decision that would shape the rest of his life. She sent him to live with her aunt and uncle in Chicago. There, in a modest, working-class Jewish neighborhood on the South Side, Larry was raised by his great-aunt Lillian and her husband, Louis Ellison, a Russian immigrant and government employee. Louis was a man hardened by the Great Depression, conservative, skeptical, and emotionally distant. While Lillian was warm and affectionate, Louis often told Larry he wouldn't amount to much. From an early age, Larry pushed back. He resented rules. He questioned everything. He never quite felt like he belonged. Ellison wasn't a bad student, but he wasn't inspired by the classroom either. He showed an early interest in science and math, but found school stifling. He enrolled at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign and did well until tragedy struck. During his second year, his adoptive mother Lillian died. Devastated, he dropped out. He later enrolled at the University of Chicago, where he was first exposed to computer programming and the emerging world of technology. But once again, he left after a single term. At 22, Ellison packed up and moved to Berkeley, California. It was the late 1960s, a time of cultural upheaval, innovation, and experimentation. Larry fit right in. He drifted from job to job, sometimes working as a technician, sometimes unemployed. He learned by doing. He taught himself to code, and slowly, he started to understand the future. While working at a tech firm called Ampex, Ellison was assigned to a project for the CIA, codenamed Oracle. There, he discovered a research paper written by Edgar F. Codd, a British scientist at IBM. The paper proposed a radical idea, organizing data not in files, but in relational tables that could be queried using structured language. Ellison saw what few others did. This idea wasn't just theoretical. It could be commercialized. It could revolutionize how businesses handled data. He became obsessed. He began sketching out the foundations for a new kind of database. In 1977, with just $1,200 and two trusted colleagues, Bob Miner and Ed Oates, Larry Ellison founded Software Development Laboratories. The trio began building what would become the first commercial relational database system. They called it Oracle, inspired by the CIA project Ellison had worked on. Their vision: to create a product that could outperform anything IBM had, and do it faster, cheaper, and more flexibly. Early on, Ellison was known for bold promises, some say too bold. He often claimed features the product didn't yet have, but this wasn't just salesmanship, it was strategy. He used ambition as a forcing function, driving his engineers to make the impossible possible. By 1983, the company was renamed Oracle Systems. In 1986, Oracle went public. Ellison, once a college dropout in Berkeley, was now a multi-millionaire. Oracle's meteoric rise came with growing pains. In 1990, the company faced a near-death experience. Aggressive sales tactics, overestimated revenue, and mismanagement nearly drove Oracle into bankruptcy. Stock prices plummeted. Hundreds of employees were laid off. It was a wake-up call. Ellison made radical changes. He brought in experienced executives, overhauled the company's financial systems, and enforced a more disciplined culture. He kept control. He learned hard lessons, and he turned it around. By the mid-1990s, Oracle was not just back, it was thriving. Under Ellison's relentless leadership, the company became one of the largest software firms in the world, second only to Microsoft. If you're finding this story valuable, consider subscribing. We share the true journeys of remarkable people, not to idolize them, but to learn what they overcame and how you can apply those lessons to your own path. Ellison's leadership style was famously intense. He demanded excellence. He celebrated speed. He valued independent thinking and didn't tolerate weakness. He was competitive, brutally so. He once said, "You have to act and act now." He challenged Microsoft head-on. He sparred with SAP, IBM, and later Salesforce. He believed in acquisition as a growth strategy, buying dozens of companies, including PeopleSoft, Siebel, BEA, and Sun Microsystems. But Ellison wasn't just building a company. He was building a legacy. As Oracle soared, so did Ellison's personal fortune. He bought sprawling estates, luxury yachts, and even fighter jets. He raced sailboats competitively. He collected art, cars, and friends from Hollywood. Some saw it as excessive. Others saw it as earned. He wasn't shy about his wealth or his worldview. He embraced the spotlight, made bold statements, and often clashed with rivals publicly. But behind the image was a thinker, a reader, and a man who had once been told he'd never succeed. In 2010, Ellison stepped down as CEO of Oracle, naming Mark Hurd and Safra Catz as co-CEOs, but he remained as CTO and executive chairman, continuing to shape the company's future. He steered Oracle toward cloud computing, determined to compete with Amazon and Microsoft. He criticized rivals, adapted Oracle's strategy, and stayed relentlessly engaged. Outside tech, Ellison bought 98% of Lanai, the sixth largest Hawaiian island, with ambitions to turn it into a model for sustainability. He funded medical research, invested in biotech, and donated millions to education and health causes. And he continued to work, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Today, Larry Ellison remains one of the richest and most influential figures in tech history. His journey, from a fatherless child in the Bronx to the founder of a global software empire, is a testament to vision, grit, and defiance. He didn't follow a playbook. He wrote his own, and in doing so, he built something lasting. If this story inspired you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who could use a little spark today. These stories aren't just about billionaires, they're about possibility, struggle. And what happens when someone refuses to give up? Your past doesn't define your potential. Ellison was abandoned, underestimated, and dismissed, and still became a world shaper. You don't need a degree to change the world. Twice a college dropout, Ellison proved knowledge and drive matter more than credentials. Be early, be bold. He saw the power of relational databases before most and went all in. Make failure your teacher. Oracle's near collapse taught Ellison discipline and how to rebuild stronger. Lead with vision, not fear. He made big promises and drove his teams to deliver them because he believed in what was possible. Play the long game. Even after decades of success, Ellison stayed curious, stayed working, and stayed evolving. Live fully. From sailing to science to philanthropy, Ellison didn't just build wealth, he built a life. Thanks for watching.